Hello students, today's video is all about anatomy of dicot and monocot root. So first of all, what is anatomy? It is the study of internal structures. Roots show a comparatively simple internal organization as compared to stem due to lack of nodes and internodes. So a transverse section through the dicot root shows the following tissues from outside to inside. The outermost layer of the root is known as epidermis or epiblemma, and due to the presence of root hair, this layer is also known as piliferous layer. It is made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells that are compactly arranged. And from these piliferous layer, there are small outgrowth known as root hair arises. And the main function of epidermis is the protection and absorption of water and solutes. After epidermis, next zone is of cortex, which is multi-layered, and it is also made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells with intercellular spaces. Cortex store food and water, and it also maintains the root pressure. After cortex, next layer is of endodermis, and it is the innermost layer of cortex. Here the cells are barrel shaped and they are closely packed. In endodermis, there are several band-like thickenings on their radial and tangential wall, and these thickenings are known as Casparian strips. Endodermis helps in the movement of water and dissolved substances from cortex into the central conducting tissue, that is xylem. After endodermis, a single layer of pericycle is present, which is present internal to the endodermis, and it is the site of the origin of lateral roots. Now next zone is about the vascular bundle. In case of root, the vascular bundles, they are radial in type. It means there are separate xylem and separate phloem strand. There is tetrarch condition of vascular bundles, means there are 4 phloem strands and 4 xylem strands. And the tissue which is present between the xylem and phloem, it is known as conjunctive tissue, and which is made up of parenchymatous cells. Xylem in this case is exarch. It means metaxylem is in the center and protoxylem towards the periphery. In the center there is a region of pith, but in case of old root, the pith is absent as metaxylem elements meet in the center. But if we look at the structure of a young dicot root, there is presence of small pith. Next is the anatomy of monocot root. Like a dicot root, there is no such distinction between a young and an old root of monocot plant because of the absence of secondary growth in monocot root. So if we cut the transverse section of a monocot root, it consists of several layers. Again, similar to that of dicot root, the outermost layer is known as epiblemma. It is made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells, and due to the presence of root hairs, this layer is known as piliferous layer or epiblemma or rhizodermis. The root hairs, they are unicellular and unbranched. And in case of monocot root, both epidermis and root hairs, they are devoid of cuticle. Next is a zone of multi-layered cortex. It is just present below the epidermis, and it consists of thin-walled parenchymatous cells having a sufficiently developed intercellular spaces among them. In case of maize, few layers of cortex undergo suberization and they will give rise to a single or multi-layered zone which is known as exodermis. And the function of cortex is that it helps in the conduction of water and mineral from root hairs to the inner tissues, and even it also helps in the storage of food. After cortex, there is a layer of endodermis. It is actually the innermost layer of the cortex, and it is composed of cylindrical shaped compact cells that lack intercellular spaces. In case of young, the young endodermal cells have an internal strip of suberin and lignin, which is known as Casparian strip. But there are some unthickened cells which are present opposite to the protoxylem, and these cells, they are known as passage cells, which serve for the conduction of fluid. And the function of endodermis is to regulate the flow of both inward as well as outward. Next is a zone of pericycle. It is present below the endodermis, and it is composed of single layered sclerenchymatous cells which are intermixed with parenchyma. Next is the zone of vascular bundle, and vascular bundles in case of monocot root, they are arranged in the form of ring around a central pith, and this arrangement is called as polyarch. Xylem and phloem, they are present on the separate radii, and this arrangement is called as radial arrangement of vascular bundles. The xylem alternate with the phloem strands, and both xylem and phloem strands, they are present in the exarch condition. It means both metaxylem and metaphloem, they are present in the center, and protoxylem and protoploem, they are present towards the periphery, that is towards the epidermis. In case of monocot root, as compared to dicot root, a well-developed pith is present in the center, and it is made up of rounded parenchymatous cells with large number of intercellular spaces. And pith cells, they serves to store food. So this is all about the structure of dicot and monocot root. I'm highly grateful for your support in watching this video. Thank you very much.